Chapter 3 The Luro. We walk hand in hand with the others from our township through the tunnel roads to the common. Loon drones above us on the HC, high above, as the gold brows. Arguet, to be technic, ought to be. They show the horrors of a terrorist bomb, killing red mining crew and an orange technician group. The sons of Ares are blamed. Their strange glyph of Ares, a cruel helmet with spiked sunbursts exploding from the crown. Itchy nose. Burns across the screen. Blood drips from the spikes. Children are shown, mangled. The sons of Ares are called tribal murderers. Called bringers of chaos. They are condemned. The society's grey police and soldiers move rubble. 2 soldiers of the obsidian color, colossal men and women nearly twice my size, are shown along with nimble yellow doctors carrying several victims from the blast. There are no sons of Ares and Lycos. Their futile war does not touch us. Yet again, a reward is offered for information on Ares, the terrorist king. We have heard the broadcast 1,000 times, and still it feels like fiction. The sons think we are mistreated, so they blow things up. It is a pointless tantrum. Any damage they do delays the progress of making Mars ready for the other colors. It hurts humanity. In the tunnel road, where boys compete to touch the ceiling, the people of the township flow in a... I don't know that word. Yeah? Alright. Flow of merriment towards the Laureltide dance. We sing the Laureltide song as we go, a swooping melody of man finding his bride in a field of gold. There's laughter as the young boys try running along the walls and doing rows of flips, only to fall on their face or be bested by a girl. Oh, sorry, my nose is real itchy. Lights are strung along the length of the corridor. It is the distance of drunk Uncle Norrell. In the distance is drunk Uncle Norrell. Old, now 35, plays his zither for the children who dance about our legs. Even he cannot scowl forever. He wears the instrument suspended on his shoulder straps so that it rests at his hips. With its plastic soundboard and his many taut metal strings facing upward toward the ceiling. Oh, fuck. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's just losing my place. The right thumb strums the strings, except when the index finger drops down or when the thumb picks a single string. All while the left hand picks out the bass line. It's maddeningly difficult to make the zither sound anything but mournful, but Uncle Norrell's fingers are equal to the task, though mine make a tragic music. He used to play to me, teaching me to move to the dances my father never had the chance to teach me. He even taught me the forbidden dance, the one they'll kill you for. We'd do it in the old mines. He would hit my ankles with a switch till I... Holy fuck. I don't know that word. Give me a second. Top. Okay. We'd do it in the old mines. He would hit my ankles with a switch till I pirouetted seamlessly through the swooping movements, a length of metal in my hand like a sword. And then I got it right. He would kiss my brow and tell me I was my father's son. It was his lessons that taught me to move, that let me best the other kids as we played games of tag and ghosts in the old tunnels. The golds dance in pairs, obsidians in threes, grays in dozens, he told me. We dance alone, because only alone do hell divers drill. Only alone can a boy become a man. I miss those days. Days when I was young enough that I didn't judge him for the stink of swill on his breath. I was 11 then, only 5 years ago today, yet it feels like a lifetime. I get pats on the back from those of Landa, and even Varlo the baker tilts his brow and tosses Io a fist of bread. They've heard about Deluro, no doubt. Io tucks the bread into her skirt for later and gives me a curious look. You're grinning like a fool, she says to me, pinching my side. What did you do? I shrugged and tried to wipe the grin from my face. It is impossible. Well, you're very proud of something, she says suspiciously. Karen's son and daughter, my niece and nephew, patter by. 3 and 3. The twins are just fast enough to outrace both Karen's wife and my mother. My mother's smile is one of a woman who has seen what life has to offer and is, at its best, bemused. It seems you've burned yourself my heart. Oh, I read that wrong. It seems you've burned yourself my heart, she says as she sees my gloved hands. Her voice is slow, ironic. A blister, Io says for me. Nasty one. Mother shrugs. His father came home with worse. I put my arm around her shoulders. They are thinner than they used to be when she taught me, as all women teach their sons, the songs of our people. Was that a hint of worry I heard, Mother? I ask. Worry? Me? Silly child. Mother sighs with a slow smile. I kiss her on her cheek. Half the clans are already drunk when we arrive at the common. In addition to dancing people, we're a drunken people. The Pinpots let us alone in that. Hang a man for no real reason, and you might get some grumbling from the township. But force sobriety upon us, and you'll be picking up the pieces of the bloody down mouth. Io is the mind that the fungus... Oh shit, let me reread that. Io is of the mind that the fungus, Grendel, which we distill, isn't native to Mars, and was instead planted here to enslave us to the swill. She brings this up whenever my mother makes a new batch. And my mother usually replies by taking a swig and saying, "Rather a drunk be my master than a man. These chains taste sweet." Sorry, my throat is raspy today. They'll taste even sweeter with the syrups we'll get from Deluro. They have flavors for alcohol, like berry and something called cinnamon. Perhaps I can even get a new zither made of wood instead of metal. Sometimes they give those out. Mine is an old frayed thing. I played too long, but it was my father's. The music swells ahead of us in the common. Body tunes of improvised percussion and wailing zithers. We're joined by the Omegas and the Upsillions, justling about merrily toward the taverns. All the tavern doors have been thrown open, so the smoke and sound bellow into the common plaza. Tables ring the plaza. Let me reread that. Tables ring the plaza, and a space is left clear surrounding the central gallows, so that there is room for dance. Gamma homes fill the next several levels, followed by supply ports, or depots. A sheer wall, and then, high above the ceiling, a sunken metal dome with nanoglass viewports. We call that place the Pod. It is the fortress where our keepers live and sleep. Beyond that is the uninhabitable surface of our planet, a barren wasteland that I've only seen on the HC. The helium-3 we mine is supposed to change that. The dancers and jugglers and singers of the Laurel Tide have already begun. Io catches sight of Lauren and Kieran and gives them a holler. They're at a long, packed table near the Soggy Drop, a tavern where the oldest of our clan, Old Ripper, holds court and tells tales to drunken folk. He's passed out on the table tonight. It's a shame. I would have liked for him to see me finally get us the laurel. At our feasts, where there's hardly food enough for each soul to hold a bite in their gob, the drink and dance take center. Lauren pours me a mug of swill before I even sit down. He's always trying to get others to drink so he can put ridiculous ribbons in their hair. He clears the way for Io to sit beside his own wife, Dio, her sister, twin in looks, if not birth. Lauren has a love for Io like her brother Liam would. But I know he was once as taken with her. Oh my god. Let's try that again. Lauren has a love for Io like her brother Liam would. But I know he was once as taken with her as he ever was with Dio. In fact, he bent a knee to my wife when she turned 14. Then again, half the lads joined him in that. No sweating it. She made her choice right and clear. I still don't know how to say this guy's name. Karen? I don't know. Karen's children swarm him. His wife kisses his lips, mine kisses his brow, and tousles his red hair. After a day in the Webbery, harvesting spiderworm silk, I don't know how the wives managed to look so lovely. I was born handsome, face angular and slim, but the minds have done their part to change me. I'm tall, still growing, hair still like old blood, irises still a rust red, as Octavia A. Loon are golden. My skin is tight and pale, but I'm pocketed with scars. Burns, cuts, won't be long till I look hard as Dago, or tired as Uncle Norrell. But the women, they're beyond us, beyond me. Lovely and spry, despite the Webbery, despite the children they bear. They wear layered skirts down past their knees, and blouses of half a dozen reds. Never anything else, always red. They're always the heart of the clans. And how much more beautiful they will look wrapped in imported bows and ribbons, and laces contained in the laurel boxes. I touch the sigils on my hand. A bone-like texture. Its crude red circle with an arrow and cross-hatching. It feels right. Eos doesn't. Her hair and eyes may be ours, but she could be one of the gold brows we see on the holocan. She deserves it. Then I see her smack Lauren hard in the head and throws back a mug of Ma's swill. God, if he's placing about the pieces, placed her well. I smile, but as I look behind her, my smile fades. Above the leaping dancers, amid the 100 swirling skirts and thumping boots and clapping hands, sways a single skeleton upon the cold, tall gallows. Others do not notice it. To me, it is a shadow, a reminder of my father's fate. Though we are diggers, we are not permitted to bury our dead. It is another one of the society's laws. My father swayed for about 2 months till they cut down his skeleton and ground his bones into dust. I was 6, but I tried to pull him down the first day. My uncle stopped me. I hated him because he kept me from my father's body. Later, I came to hate him again because I discovered he was weak. My father died for something, while my Uncle Nora lived and drank and squandered his life. He's a mad one. You'll see someday. Mad and brilliant and noble. Nora's the best of my brothers, my father once said. Now he's just the last. Ooh. 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 Shivers. Chills. Chills. Literal chills. Okay. I never thought my father would do the devil's dance, what the old folk call the death by hanging. He was a man of words and peace, but his nation was freedom, laws of our own. His dreams were his weapons. His legacy is the dancer's rebellion. It died with him on that scaffold. 9 men at once, doing the devil's dance, kicking and flailing, till only he was left. It wasn't much of a rebellion. They thought peaceful protests would convince the society to increase food rations. So they performed the reaping dance in front of the grav lifts and removed bits of machinery from drills so that they wouldn't work. The gambit failed. Only winning the laurel can get you more food. It's on 11 when my uncle sits down with his zither. He eyes me something nasty, drunk as a fool on the Yuletide. We don't share words, though he has a kind one for Io, and she for him. Everyone loves Io. It's when Io's mother comes over and kisses me on the back of my head and says very loudly, "We heard the news, you golden boy, the Laurel. You are your father's son." That my uncle stirs. "What's the matter, uncle?" I ask. "Have gas?" His nostrils flare wide. "You little shit-eater." He launches himself across the table, and soon we're in a muddle of fists and elbows on the ground. He's big, but I flip him down and pound his nose with my bad hand till Io's father and Karen pull me off. Uncle Noro spits at me. It's more blood and swilled than anything else. Then we're drinking again, at the opposite ends of the table. My mother rolls her eyes. He's just bitter he didn't do a bloody damn thing to get the laurel. Show up is all, Lawrence says to his father. Bloody damn coward. Wouldn't know how to win the laurel if it landed in his lap, I say, scowling. Io's father pats me on the head and sees his daughter fixing my burned hand under the table. I slip my gloves back on. He winks at me. Io's figured out the fuss about the laurel by the time the tin pots arrive, but she's not as excited as I hoped she'd be. She twists her skirt in her hands and smiles at me, but her smile is more like a grimace. I don't understand why she's so apprehensive. None of the other clans are. Many come to pay their respects all the Helldivers do, except Dago. He's sitting at a group of shiny gamma tables, the only ones with more food than Swill. Oof, let me reread that. The only ones with more food than Swill, smoking down a burner. Can't wait for the sod to be eating regular rations, Lauren chuckles. Dago's never tasted peasant fare before. Yet somehow he's thinner than a woman, Karen adds. I laugh along with Lauren and push the meager piece of bread to Io. Cheer up, I tell her. This night is for celebrating. I'm not hungry, she replies. Not even if the bread has cinnamon on it? Soon it will. She gives me that half smile, as if she knows something I don't. At 12, the courtier of tin pots descend in grav brutes from... Oh, shit. Let me reread that. Courtier of tin pots descend on grav brutes from the pot. Their armor is shoddy and stained. Most are boys or old men, retired from Earth's wars. But that's not what matters. They carry their thumpers and scorchers and buckle holsters. I've seen their thumpers and scorchers. Oh, sorry. I've never seen either weapon used. There's no need. They got their air, the food, the port. We haven't a scorcher to shoot. Not that Io wouldn't like to steal one. The muscle in her jaw flexes as she watches the tin pots float in on their grav boots, now joined by the mine magistrate. Oh, that's a name. Tamani Q. Pagidus. A minute copper-haired man of the petties. Copper to be technic. Notice, grubby rusters, Ugly Dan calls. Silence falls over the festivities as he floats above us. Magistrate Pogamus. Grav boots are substandard things, so he wobbles in the air like a generic... Holy fuck, okay. Rereading that one. Notice, grubby rusters. Ugly Dan calls. Silence falls over the festivities as they float above. Magistrate Pogamus's grav boots are substandard things, so he wobbles in the air like a Geratic? That right there. Geratic. Geratric. I don't know. More tin pots descend on the grav lift as Pogamus splays open his small, manicured hands. Fellow pioneers, how wonderful it is to see your celebrations. I must confess, he titters. I have a fondness for the rustic nature of your happiness. Simple drink, simple fare, simple dance. Oh, what fine souls you have to be so entertained. Why, I wish I were so entertained. I cannot even find pleasure off-planet in a pink brothel after a meal of fine ham and pineapple tart these days. How sad for me. How your souls are so spoiled. If only I could be like you. But my color is my color, and I am cursed as a copper to live a tedious life of data, bureaucracy, and management. He clucks his tongue, and his copper curls bounce as his grav boots shift. But to the matter, all quotas have been met, save by Mu and Chi. As such, they will receive no beefs, milk, spices, hygienics, comforts, or dental aid this month. Oats and substantials only. You understand that the ships from Earth orbit can only bring so many supplies to the colonies. Valuable resources. And we must give them to those who perform. Perhaps next quarter, Mo and Chai, you will dally less. Mu and Chai lost a dozen men in a gas explosion, like the one Uncle Gnarl feared. They did not dally, they died. He partles on a while before. He partles on a while before coming to the real matter. He produces the laurel and holds it in the air, pinched between his fingers. It's painted in a fake gold, but the small branch sparkles nonetheless. Laura nudges me. Uncle Gnarl scowls. I lean back. Itchy. I lean back, conscious of the eyes. The young take their cues from me. The children adore all hell divers. But the older eyes watch me too. Just as Io always says, I'm their pride, their golden son. Now I'll show them how the real man acts. I won't jump up and down in victory. I'll just smile and nod. And it becomes my distinct honor to, on the behalf of the Arch-Governor of Mars, Nero A. Augustus, to award the laurel of productivity and monthly excellence to the triumphant fortitude and obedient sacrifice. And Gamma gets the laurel, and we don't. Chapter 4, The Gift.